move on? Okay. And we kind of already walked through this, how does a teacher build a web with his or her students? And that's a continuous process. New words should be added to the student web daily. You're going to naturally do that during phase 1 because there are a lot of personal stories that are coming out. I would start every day with personal stories. The first day, I'd be a little bit longer on personal stories, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 if your kids are really invested in it. As the week progresses, spend less time on it, and I usually spend about 5 or 10 minutes, and I say, if you want to stay up here with me and continue to do personal stories, great. Or you can go back and you may do a memory drawing, you may do a simple representation. I would have explained what that was already. Or you could do some type of writing about the topic, but giving them a choice, or you can stay up here and do personal stories with me. A lot of times, kids want to stay up there and talk, and they want you to hear about their lives. It's a great time to build relationships with them. Usually by like the 4th or 5th day, though, almost everyone would go out. If I had 3 or 4 kids who were still up front wanting to talk, I gave them the responsibility of listening for words, connecting to the topic, and writing it down on Post-it notes, and then I could go and circulate throughout the room, because I know management is a big piece during that time, because it's new things now that we're asking them to do, but we know they're very capable as well. So, questions now? How you know you're really ready to begin phase 2. Some of our greatest project people who love project work, but we got into phase 2 and we didn't really get anything done. We got into phase 2, and my very first question always is, where's your list of researchable questions? Because your kids need to know what they're looking for. It's great. It's a great time to talk about all the things we know about the topic, and it does build relationships, but if you don't ever start to generate questions with them, then they have no direction really in phase 2. It will definitely flop because they don't know what they're looking for. So they have a list of researchable questions. Just always remember that. I know I'm ready to go in when I've got not questions like, what color is a bug? How many dots are on a ladybug? What you mean thick researchable ones? And you might only have 10, but if they're deep questions, you're ready to move on. The components of phase 2, field visits, which are really different than field trips in the sense that when students go on a field visit, they have a very distinct purpose. This green book on the project approach, and Katie made copies of this for you that I'll pass out in a little bit, shows you specific jobs that students can be doing when they're on a field visit. Now you're going to have to, in older grades, you're going to need to ingest this for your kids. But there's a group doing a project on a supermarket, and so there were people there who were assigned to writing. They were going to be writing down the people's roles, the different produces that were there, and then the sounds. There was a group that was going to be working on field sketches, and so you can let everybody do that, or you can assign, these 3, I know you're good artists, you're going to be working on field sketches for us. While you're there, make sure you label these things so that when we come back, we can talk about them differently. Numbers, because we know we have to be talking about math, so look at all the different ways. Oh, I saw a clearance sign for 10% off. Make sure they're writing down different things like that. Things you can measure, diagrams, processes, photographs. It's kind of you don't have to just stick with these things, but it's a great guide to get started when you're thinking about your topic. And yes, I know that we don't get to field trip that often, so sometimes we have to be very creative. A lot of people can come to us. I know Indy Parks has they have a few different nature trailers that you can have come out to us. I know that I'm willing to share, I have a phenomenal STEM teacher, and he's got snakes, and he's got turtles, and he's got mice, and we've already loaned one of our snakes out to Harrison Hill because a class is thinking about, where that came from? No. A class is thinking about doing a project on snakes, and they want to get a pet snake, and so they're playing with him. But then you can Skype with him, and he can be an expert for your class too. There are a lot of snakes in the building. The next piece, field visits. If we can't do that, because I know we've got one, and so a lot of times people like to save it up to make sure it's a rock solid one. But you've got these cornfields over here too. You could at least do a field visit there to the golf course. Is having a guest expert. Yes.
A project? No, I'm just kidding.
We went to the golf course once. We had the golf people. We had the Lawrence North or Lawrence Central golf instructor come out. He was a guest expert. He brought some Lawrence Central students who were golfers, and then they walked. It was a third grade class. They walked to that golf course.
And play golf.
I don't know if they played.
Ah.
They were learning about this space, but it's good for like the mounds, and it gets into some third and fourth grade
Standards.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, guest experts. If you can't go there, the next best thing is bring it here. And a guest expert is anyone who knows more about the topic than you do. So, anyone. So I'm going to have Stacey Craven be a guest expert about Advocare for me because I don't know a lot about it. I do know I took some Spark. I did have my Spark before the meeting, but I know that she knows about Advocare, so you could definitely come in.
She knows about swimming too, so if you wanted to do a project on swimming.
On swimming, or no, swimming probably be more student centered. Observational drawings, which are really different than memory drawings because you're looking at a topic straight on, or you're looking at an object straight on. You typically are in a nice position. You're sitting in some nice chairs. Your backs feel good. Katie, you could talk probably more about observational drawings so if the knife could, so you and Linda.
Well, I will help anyone with any aspect of their project. And observational drawings are just about 15 minutes where you have the child draw something that's pretty much right in front of them. And they'll walk and say, I can't draw, but then, you know, if you give them 15 minutes, a piece of paper and a pencil, they'll be shocked at what they come up with. It's amazing. I had a group of kindergartners draw I had a Volkswagen Bug. And so I took them out, all of them out, and it was incredible what they turned out. It looked exactly like my car. So, I mean, you just tell them, just draw what you see. You don't add anything, just draw what you see. So,
you had kids take off their shoes. I've seen.
Oh, I did that here one time. I don't know what the teachers here. I had everyone take off their shoes and put it in front of them, and everybody drew a shoe, and they were. I'm gonna flip one. I'm gonna draw that flip one, but you know, if it's right there and you're looking right at it,
You could do a project on shoes.
Yeah.
Jenny Dickerson did one, and she actually would still be a great contact because her husband works for Nike, I believe, and he came in and was an expert, and they have a really.
I saw something too where the teacher, they were doing something on had to do with medical supplies or something, or doctors, and she had multiple stations of things to do for observational drawings, so they did rotations. That way, you know, she gave them a set amount of time, and then she said rotate, and so they practiced doing observational drawings with lots of different objects, and that way they didn't get, you know, stuck on just one thing, and they're like, I can't draw it. After they'd drawn for like maybe 5-10 minutes, they rotated to the next one. And so they each got a chance to practice doing observational drawings on different objects before they actually launched into the project.
I'm saying it's always a great idea to do, if you're not sure what your topic's going to be, to go ahead and do some project practice. I would have my kids draw their hands, and we'd put them up in the room and try to identify whose hand was who. Mine was easy to identify because I was the only one with the ring on, and then it was usually a lot bigger than theirs. But they were really good about really looking closely at the details.